The Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 6th place in the Central Division after 23 games skated on the season. They have a record of 11-12-0. 22 points has them 10 points shy of the first place Colorado Avalanche. On the road, which is where the Nashville Predators' next game will take place, they have a record of 3-6-0. On the season, the Preds have scored 74 goals. They've given up 76 against. That's a goal differential of -2. Now, I mentioned the Central Division, so let's start and go top down with an update on the latest standings for the entirety of the Central Division. The Colorado Avalanche maintain their position in first place, just finished off a win just a few moments before I came out here to record. They've skated in 23 games on the season. 15-6-2 is their record. They have 32 points. They are 1 point ahead of the Dallas Stars, who have a record of 14-5-3 and 31 points. The Winnipeg Jets are in third place with the record of 13-8-2, 28 points. And the Arizona Coyotes are at 26 points in fourth place. The St. Louis Blues are 25 points in fifth. The Preds have 22 points in sixth. Minnesota is at 18 in seventh. And Chicago, with a record of 7-15-0, has 14 points. They are in eighth and last place in the Central Division. Now, before we get into this individual matchup, let's talk about the Nashville Predators and their upcoming schedule after this next game in Buffalo against the Sabres. Tuesday, they'll be in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. Back home Thursday for a one-night stand against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Saturday at Toronto. Sunday at Montreal. Back home on December the 12th to face off against the Philadelphia Flyers for the first time this season. Now, the Nashville Predators will be taking on the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo, which means out of the two-game series out of the season, the Buffalo Sabres will now have to come to Nashville, and that will take place on March the 7th. Now, the Buffalo Sabres over in the Eastern Conference, they have a record of 10-12-2, 22 points is good for 7th in the Atlantic Division. On home ice, they have an even record of 5-5. They have scored 70 goals in the season. They have given up 83 goals against on the season. That's a goal differential of -13. When we take a look at their most recent sample size of their last 5 games, we go back to November the 24th. It was a 3-2 victory for the Sabres versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. The next day on the 25th, a 7-2 loss at the New Jersey Devils. On the 27th of November, a 5-1 win at the New York Rangers. Not very many teams have done that this season. 11-30, 6-4 loss at St. Louis. And most recently, on December the 2nd, a 6-2 loss at the Carolina Hurricanes. It was Comrie getting the start at 29 out of 35, 6 goals against, and taking the loss. Before we get into the NHL matchup rankings and numbers between these two teams for this game, let me update you on the Nashville Predators injury situation. Tommy Novak is still on injured reserve. Glass is still on injured reserve. And add Alex Carey now to injured reserve, going to be out for, quote, a couple of weeks. We'll have to track what exactly that timeline means, but that is not good for the Nashville Predators. 3 of their young players on injured reserve right now. Now, let's get into this matchup. Nashville Predators, Buffalo Sabres, both coming off of back-to-back, so they each team played on Saturday, each team having to travel back to Buffalo. The Sabres were in Carolina. The Predators, of course, were at home against the New York Rangers. So let's take a look with the numbers and the matchup with that in mind, that both of these teams are on the second day of back-to-backs, and both teams had to travel. Goals for category, the Nashville Predators lead in this one, 3.22 per game, 16th best in the NHL, while the Buffalo Sabres are generating 2.92 goals per game. That's 23rd overall in the National Hockey League. In the goals against category, Preds also leading in this metric, 3.30 given up per game. Not pretty, but 19th in the NHL is better than 24th in the NHL, is what the Buffalo Sabres are, giving up 3.46 goals per game. In the shots for category, the Preds lead in this one as well, 14th in the league, generating 31.3 shots per game on net, while the Buffalo Sabres are only generating 28.8 shots per game on net. That's 27th overall in the NHL. In the shots against category, now the Buffalo Sabres are ahead in this metric, only giving up 29.9 a game. That's 12th best in the league. Preds giving up 30.2 is 14th. When it comes to the special teams and the power play, the Nashville Predators lead in this particular metric. 19.4% is their conversion rate. That's 18th best in the NHL. 18 out of 93 is the raw data. The power play for the Buffalo Sabres converting at 14.1%. That's 25th overall in the NHL. They've converted 10 out of 71 opportunities. When it comes to the penalty kill, the Buffalo Sabres lead in this particular metric. 81.3% kill rate is 13th best in the league. They've given up 15 power play goals against in the season. The Nashville Predators, though, 73% kill rate, is rated 29th, and they have given up 20 power play goals against on the season. Now, we like to take a look at the top 5 scores for each team and individuals. So let's start with the home team, Buffalo Sabres. Middlestat leads the team in scoring with 5 goals and 16 assists for 21 overall points. Dahlin at 5 and 15 for 20. Peterka 10 and 8 for 18. Skinner 10 goals and 8 assists for 18 points. And Tuck 8 goals and 9 assists for 17 points. Over on the Nashville Predators visiting side, that's right, the Predators have been home so much recently that I've just gotten used to them being home. They're on the road in Buffalo. Philip Forsberg still leads the team in scoring. That's a fact. 12 goals, 15 assists. Both of those lead in both of those individual categories. 27 points, of course, leads the team overall. O'Reilly now with 11 goals on the season, 10 assists for 21 total points. The captain Roman Jossi's at 5 goals and 12 assists for 17 points. Nyquist 3 and 14 for 17. And Luke Evangelista 3 goals and 10 assists for 13 overall points. Because both teams played on Saturday, a expected goaltending matchup is UC Saros going in net for the Nashville Predators at 8-10-0 and 8.95, save percentage at 3.17 goals against average. Luukkonen is 6-4-1 and 9.05, save percentage at 2.86 goals against average. Comrie got the start and took the loss in Carolina on Saturday. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators at the Buffalo Sabres. It's the first back-to-back of the season for the Preds, the first of many coming up. As a matter of fact, the schedule is quite compressed in the month of December for the Nashville Predators, the most difficult month that they will have on the calendar in the schedule, and it is not going to be easy, facing off against the New York Rangers at home on Saturday afternoon and then traveling into Buffalo for a Sunday late afternoon, early evening game against the Sabres. But that's got you all set up for that game. That's the preview. Now we've got to recap what happened with the New York Rangers. It's called the Reaver Sports Full Game Recap, and it's coming up right after this.